Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. It's Filipino American History Month and you know I had to do a Filipino dish. Check out my shirt. You can tell that I'm ready. I got adobo, sinigang, lumpia, sisig, pancit. So I'm ready like Filipino spaghetti. Today I'll be making the most popular Filipino dish, adobo. But I'll be making it with pork today and streamline the process by cooking it in a pressure cooker, which makes it super easy with only one pot to clean. In my experience, I've also found grilled pineapple to pair really well with adobo to cut through the umami richness of the dish. Moreover, I'm not claiming that this dish is authentic, but this is the way that I cook it. But I will claim that it is super delicious, so let's get to it.
In a large bowl, add 2 pounds of pork shoulder or pork butt that are cut up into 1-inch cubes. At the market, you can ask the butcher to cut these pork cubes up for you so you can save yourself some time. Garlic is super key to this dish, so go ahead and use a whole head. So what we want to do with the garlic is to smash them up with a knife to release the flavors, but leave them in medium-sized chunks as they will soften up in the braise and give us a nice garlicky bite to the dish. Add some cracks of freshly ground peppercorn, then add 1 tablespoon of whole black peppercorn, then add 1 1/4 cup of white vinegar. I personally like using white vinegar because it's more sharp and pungent, which I love in my adobo. 3/4 cup of coconut aminos. This is where I stray from the traditional recipe that uses soy sauce, but I like using coconut aminos because not only does it provide some salty umami, but it's also already sweet, so we don't have to add any more sugar. 1/2 cup of filtered water. Add 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and the reason why we do this is because the coconut aminos isn't that salty, so this will give it that extra salt. Now toss your pork real good to make sure that the marinade gets into every nook and cranny. And finally, throw in 4 to 5 bay leaf. Now cover up your adobo, and we're going to marinate it in the fridge for at least 2 hours, but ideally overnight to let those flavors soak in. So I let the adobo marinate for a day, and check it out. The flavors have soaked in and the marinade has broken down the protein to make it even more tender and delicious. Make sure to reserve all of the marinade as we are definitely going to use it. Now turn your pressure cooker on saute mode on high and coat the bottom of the pot with enough neutral oil, I like avocado oil, so that we can start searing all of the pork pieces in batches on all sides, so we can get some browning going on for some delicious flavor. And don't overcrowd the pot as we want to brown them by searing, not steaming. Once all your pork pieces are seared, pour all of the marinade into the pot, all of it with all the bits and pieces, and then carefully putting your pork pieces inside as well, and be careful not to splash that sauce everywhere. Once they're all in, put your pressure cooker on high and set it for 15 minutes. While the pork is cooking, you can start breaking down your pineapple. So grab 1 whole pineapple, cut the top off, and then cut the bottom off, flip on a flat side for safety, cut the peel off of the pineapple following the shape of the pineapple, not straight down, to preserve more of the flesh, cut off any remaining pieces of the eye that we don't want to eat, and then what I do is cut down the pineapple around the tough core on each side, then I lay it flat and cut around the core again, and then with the larger pieces, I cut them evenly into the same size and shape for some uniformity. So earlier I mentioned serving up the pork adobo with grilled pineapple, but to make things easier, I'm going to broil them this time, which still gives us a similar outcome of a roasty pineapple flavor and some caramelization. We won't be getting as much char as we would from a hot grill, so what I'm doing here is adding some coconut sugar to the exterior of the pineapple to assist in the caramelization. So throw these bad boys in the broiler on high on the top rack for 4 to 5 minutes. When the time is up, carefully take them out of the broiler to see that they are now nicely and lightly charred. At this point, the pork adobo should be done cooking in the pressure cooker and release any pressure that might be left to see how our main dish is doing. Now take a look at that pork adobo. All the fat has rendered out, and feel free to continue simmering it down to get the sauce at the consistency you want. Also feel free to add more salt or vinegar to the taste that is just right for you. Now let's get ready to plate this up and give it a taste. Grab yourself a nice plate and put down a nice mound of white rice. Stack some nice pork adobo chunks on top of that fluffy bed of white rice. Spoon some of that delicious sauce right on top of everything. As much or as little as you like, but believe me, you're gonna want to put all that luscious sauce on it all. Now add a slice or 2 of some pineapple to your plate and let's give it a taste.
So the pork is super fork tender. As you can see, it splits apart super easily.
It's super rich, fatty. I added extra salt, so it's got that nice saltiness, umami. And with the pineapple, it's perfect. And with the peppercorn, since we cooked it down, it doesn't really have like a pungent spiciness or heat. It kind of just pops in your mouth and it's super edible. And I can't stop eating it. Wow. I think Maui wants some. So yeah, as you saw, this recipe is super easy to make. You make it really all up in the Instant Pot. The only thing additional is the broiled pineapple, but it's also not that much work, super easy. This meal lasts all week. And the thing about adobo is it sits really well and the flavors actually develop over the next few days. So what you can do is kind of store it in your fridge and the adobo only gets better. And there you go, you have some food for the rest of the week. I hope you enjoy it. If you really liked this video, please watch my next video here. And feel free to subscribe if you want to. Cheers. I don't know. What do I say? I'll do one more bite. Wow.